Coming up on the Monday edition of Carolina Week.
I'm T.H. Cox, and I will show you why some pay raises are raising eyebrows.
The track may be a little quiet now, but we'll show you why you'll want to be in these seats in just a couple of months.
And in sports, Duke and Carolina battled it out on Saturday. It came down to 1 inch. We'll show you how the Heels measured up.
How long will this wet weather last? Weathercaster Rob Ellis is here with the answer.
Carolina Week starts right now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the November 21st edition of Carolina Week. I'm Shaheen Sayal.
And I'm Philip Jones. We move first today to what's on everyone's mind. Weathercaster Rob Ellis joins us now. Rob, I woke up Monday morning and it was just pouring outside. Is this rain going to help us get out of this drought?
Well, I love to hear the rain falling outside. The rainy days that we've gotten is good news for the Triangle area. Rainy days and Mondays aren't always the best combination, but we'll take the rain whenever we can get it. We took you to Jordan Lake last week for a look at the drought's effects and the low lake levels. Monday's rainfall won't solve all of our problems, but our water tables might rise as much as 3 inches by the time the rain ends. I'll have much more about the much-needed rainfall later in the show.
All right, we look forward to that. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Well, the recent raise for state employees is far less than what top UNC system administrators are getting, and many are wondering if that larger raise for chancellors is justified. Carolina Week reporter T.H. Cox takes a look.
Chancellors across the University of North Carolina system are getting pay raises from 8 to 13%. But for other state employees, a 2% salary increase is all they'll see. UNC economics professor Ralph Burns believes there's perhaps a good reason for a bigger pay.
There is a competitive market out there, and if people are outstanding academic leaders, they will be bid away to other places.
Burns also sees another side of the story.
The flip side, where state employees, the staff here, are getting 2% raises, makes it seem that the 13% is just unfair.
Burns adds that current circumstances aren't in the state employees' favor.
The economy is not fully recovered from a recession, so that people who are housekeepers or in maintenance or our administrative staff may simply not have that many options at this point in time. That's what this 2% raise is saying.
Chancellor Meza of UNC and Chancellor Oblingler of NC State will both receive 13% raises. UNC Systems President Molly Broad will receive a 6% raise, bringing her total salary to around $332,000. Legislators tucked away $335,000 in the state budget, primarily for the chancellor's raises.
TH, state employees complained about the small raise they got even before news of the chancellor raises came out.
Well, Shaheen, many of them aren't happy. They're paying some of that 2% raise back in taxes and increased health insurance premiums. So some workers say it's hard to accept the large raises going to chancellors.
T.H. Cox reporting from the newsroom. Thanks, T.H.
While Chancellor Meza will be earning more money, students could be paying more money to attend UNC. The UNC Board of Trustees is discussing once again tuition increases. In-state undergraduates can expect tuition to rise between $200 and $300, with out-of-state rates increasing $600 to $900. Graduate students face slightly larger increases. Student body president Seth Dearman says tuition increases are the result of low state funding and should be raised with predictability in mind.
Just the bottom line is an effort to give families and students a better idea of exactly what their cost of education at UNC is going to be.
Officials hope the tuition increases will raise about $5 million.
Cold weather means most of us are having to keep the heat on more often, which can lead to a dollar drain. PSNC energy rates have increased by 55% in 1 year, and the company indicated recently that rates will remain that high at least through December. PSNC says its suppliers have increased rates, so it had to pass that on to customers. Company officials will decide by December 15th if they can afford to drop the rates for January. Owners of some older homes in the area might not be ready to fight the cold weather. The governor's office says many low-income families are struggling to pay the high energy bills, and their homes don't have enough insulation to keep the heat in. That's why Governor Mike Easley is introducing a $10 million plan to help families in need. The project consists of 3 parts. $3.4 million will go to community agencies that will evaluate homes and provide cheap ways to protect them from harsh weather. Local social services departments will receive another $3.5 million from the state to help those with no heat. North Carolina utility companies have pledged $3.4 million to the project.
The Sierra Club has named Durham and Chapel Hill cool cities, but the label might not mean what you think. Durham and Chapel Hill are 2 of 183 cities that have signed a pledge sponsored by the Sierra Club to combat global warming. Cities that sign on will strive to achieve a 7% reduction in emission gases by 2012. Chapel Hill has already made its bus system fare-free and will build more pedestrian-friendly sidewalks while discouraging road widenings and urban sprawl.
Say you need to get from point A to point B fast, but you don't have a car, it's too far to walk, and waiting for the bus isn't an option. The UNC Sustainability Office is working to make bikes available for times like these. Under the proposed bike loan program, people can check out bikes by the hour, and all they have to do is return the bike when they're done, so it's right there for the next person. Sustainability Director Cindy Shea says more people might utilize this program given the high price of gas.
Prices having gone up so much this fall after the hurricanes and the impact on the refinery system in this country, there are a lot of people who are looking at alternatives to driving their single-occupant vehicles.
So far, at least 7 universities have implemented similar programs. The Perfectly Able Club wants to help disabled students get around better at Carolina. Construction sites around campus are challenging students who use wheelchairs, crutches, or canes. Even a broken arm can cause a student to fall behind in class because the student can't take notes. The club wants to help with services such as transportation to and from classes or taking notes for injured students.
We need to recognize that disability does not mean abnormality. It's just a different way of doing things. And the more people recognize that on campus, the more things will get done.
For more information about disability services on campus, log on to our website, carolinaweek.org.
30,000 people commit suicide each year in the United States, leaving behind hundreds of loved ones. Carolina Week's Hannah Gordola is in Chapel Hill to show us how those survivors cope.
Linda Wilson's family fell into a state of shock when her mother shot herself. But instead of grieving for their loss, her family kept emotions locked up and did not talk about it.
It probably was a defense thing too, but that was our style as well. Mom was the emotions of the family.
In a Survivor of Suicide conference in Chapel Hill Saturday, Wilson talked about how masking her family's grief took a toll on her younger brother.
My brother tried to take his life, and that let loose the floodgates open.
It's hard for Wilson to reconcile her brother's actions.
I felt more angry at my brother immediately than I had at my mother, to this day, because I thought, how he knows what this does. How could he do this?
Social worker Larry Bernstein says Wilson's brother and others like him need to go to support groups. It helps people know there's hope, and help from others is also important in preventing suicides.
Friends can sometimes step in when they don't even have the energy, the individual who might be contemplating it, to make the right decisions.
Wilson says she frequently thinks about taking her own life as well.
I identify very much with my mom. I think I understand what she felt, and I need to address that so that I don't follow in her footsteps.
Wilson says she wants everyone to know there's help out there. In Chapel Hill, I'm Hannah Gordola, Carolina Week.
If you or someone you know is looking to get help, you can contact Survivors of Suicide. Coming up next on Carolina Week, an up-and-coming entrepreneur.
We'll show you how one UNC student went from 0 to $1 million after the break.
I wonder how Silent Sam feels about guarding the university from groups of third-grade kids. Maybe he's lost interest. We haven't heard his rifle fire recently. Still he stands, a steadfast defender of something. What is it? No one knows the real Carolina like a student. Carolina Week, the student news show.
Mother taught me. She's
averaging 18%. Balance the budget. Increasing clouds for...
UNC TV. Your remote stops here.
Most college seniors are looking for a job, but that's something one UNC senior won't have to worry about. Reporter Stephanie Miller joins us in the studio with more. Stephanie?
Well, Philip, Business Week just named Ryan Alice one of the top entrepreneurs younger than 25 in the country. He's taken his company from $0 to $1 million in yearly sales.
21-year-old Ryan Alice owns 2 email marketing software companies, and he's had big dreams for quite a long time.
So I decided to start up a computer help business, put flyers at the laundromat in the city hall and that type of thing, and say, call Ryan, $5 an hour, responsible 11-year-old.
He started his first company, Verante, in 2002, and the summer after his freshman year, he teamed up with business partner Aaron Houghton to create Broadwick.
And we started out with no customers, no employees, no money. And over the past 2 years and 4 months, I've been able to grow that business to the point that it is today. We have 22 full-time employees. We have about 3,300 customers.
Alice is very modest about Broadwick's recent success.
So I'm very excited about where we are, but I realize that in order to get to the level where we all want to be, that we have a number of years left before us.
He does plan to return to Carolina to receive a diploma to put on that wall and later go on to grad school.
I want to at some point get an MBA from a place like Harvard or Stanford or Wharton, something like that.
He plans to move to a big city and start a larger company, but no matter what level of success he reaches, he won't forget about others in the world who are less fortunate.
I'd like to use whatever money I can make in business to be able to contribute a large portion of that to either set up my own foundation or work with the foundations that are already out there to reduce malaria or have technology grants or work with AIDS.
Alice says being younger than all of his employees isn't a problem. It actually makes the communication process less intimidating for them.
Stephanie Miller live in the studio. Thanks, Stephanie.
A UNC professor will be a judge for the first ever Blooker Prize. Paul Jones is a professor in both journalism and library sciences. The Blooker Prize will honor authors of online blogs who compile their writings into print publications. Jones says he prefers blogs because of the personal connection they provide between authors and readers.
Blogs are about a more intense interactivity. They're not just about disciplined writing once a day or once a week, or keeping all your notes online.
The first winners of the Blooker Prize will be announced on April 3rd.
Who better as a speaker for the Historical Society of Chapel Hill than a man who's a big part of Tar Heel history? Woody Durham has been the voice of the Tar Heels for 34 years, bringing Carolina football and men's basketball to life for fans of all ages. At a recent meeting, Durham explained his deep ties to Chapel Hill and the university. He then held a question and answer session with the audience. Durham says he has his own definition of a Carolina fan.
I guess I could say that a true Carolina fan is somebody who turns down the sound on television and turns up the radio when they're watching Carolina football and basketball.
The Historical Society honored Durham with a donation to the Woody Durham Distinguished Professorship. Well, Rob and Shaheen, we've already discussed that rain that we've been getting, but the temperatures are also falling as well.
That's right, Rob. Even though the rain's here, it feels like fall is also here.
Yeah, the temperatures are well below normal for where they should be this time of year. It's cold and it's wet out there. It might be annoying to have to dodge some puddles, but the rain is a welcome relief after weeks of dry conditions. I'll have your forecast coming up after the break.
You wouldn't treat a crash test dummy like a child. So why treat a child like a crash test dummy? If they're under 4'9", they need a booster seat. Learn more at boosterseat.gov.
Well, I'm thankful you've joined us here for Carolina Week Weather. I'm weathercaster Rob Ellis, and I know many of you are thankful for the welcome rainfall that we received Monday and Sunday night. But let's take a look. Thankful for the rainfall, and our temperatures are well below normal for where they should be this time of year. And Turkey Day trouble, we may have a chance for some rainfall coming up on Thanksgiving. But let's go ahead and take a look at the big picture here at the National Satellite Map. Lots of cloudiness all over the southeast Carolinas are just entrenched with lots of rainfall, and that's very good news. Let's go ahead and zoom into the southeast and take a look at the system. Here's the low pressure system here with cold front trailing there and lots of rainfall pushing off to the northeast. This system is going to stick around for a while, and it's going to bring us lots of rainfall and lots of showers. If we go to the radar, you'll be able to see a lot of that. Here's the big batch of moisture that pushed through Sunday night and into Monday, and that's going to lift off to the northeast, but there's lots of other batches of showers all throughout the southeast that are going to be heading our way, so this rainfall is going to stick around for a while. If we go back out to the national surface map, you'll be able to see that here's the low pressure system and that warm front and cold front. We've gotten through that cold front. That's why our temperatures have been much cooler than we've been seeing over the past few weeks. It's finally feeling like fall, and lots of rainfall still associated with the back part of this system, and as this pushes through, we will expect those chances for rainfall. Now, behind this system, we do have some high pressure in place, but up to the north, there is a system that may move through and give us a chance, a slight chance for some rainfall on Thanksgiving. Let's go ahead and wrap it up in the 4-day forecast, and you'll be able to see that. Starting out on Tuesday, that rainfall is going to continue much the same that we've seen Monday. It's going to be a carbon copy tomorrow on Tuesday. 51 for your high, 31 overnight for your low, and I don't think that we'll have too many problems with icing after this rainfall moves out is when the temperatures will drop. But as we move to Wednesday, if you plan on traveling for Thanksgiving, looks like it's going to be great. 49 degrees for your high, overnight low 35. And as we move into Turkey Day, I know I'm heading to get some of my mom's world famous sweet potato casserole. It's wonderful. I love it. And if you're heading out for that Thanksgiving dinner, rainy, just a chance though. 51 for your high, overnight low 32 degrees. And for the largest shopping day of the year, Friday, it looks like 46 degrees for your high, 27, so very chilly, but clear skies, so it looks like it's going to be great. And just to take a look at some of our Thanksgiving normals, high is 59 normally, but look at our forecast, 51 degrees for our high, and lows are about 5 degrees also below normal. So it's very chilly compared to what we normally see this time of year.
But even though it looks like it's going to rain on Thanksgiving, I'm so glad we're finally getting that rain.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks very much, Rob. And Heather Catlin is here with us with sports and details about a really exciting weekend in Tar Heel athletics.
It was. We had a great football game against a big rival, but we'll talk about that later on in sports. But first in sports, the men's basketball team hosted Gardner-Webb to tip off its season. We'll show you how the Heels began their defense in a dramatic fashion.
Excuse me, I've been getting mixed messages about women and violence. I need a little clarification.
Uncle Bill, how am I supposed to grow up to respect women when I have such lousy role models?
Boys are never going to approach you.
Can you help me reshape my attitudes towards women?
You need to teach them that violence against women is wrong.
Immunizations are not just for kids. No matter your state of health, your age, or how you spend your day, you're at risk for serious disease if your immunizations are not up to date. Take the time to visit your health professional and find out which vaccines you need. Immunization saves lives. One of them might be yours. For more information, visit vaccineinformation.org.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Heather Catlin. With a win against Duke in football and the start of basketball season, this was a great weekend for Tar Heel fans. You've heard it before, it's a game of inches. Saturday's game against Duke proved this cliche. Reporter John Leggett tells us how one single unit of measurement can make all the difference.
On senior day, it was junior running back Ronnie McGill who turned in his biggest performance of the season.
McGill's ability to pick up tough yards opened up big gains down the field. Senior quarterback Matt Baker was able to connect on his 38-yard touchdown heave to Jesse Holly. But Duke would hang tough and strike back with a touchdown of their own. Then, on a reverse late in the game, look out! This touchdown put Duke up by 4 with 5 minutes to go. Baker's drive would bring the offense to a 4th and 1 with the game on the line. The handoff goes to McGill, but did he get enough for a first down?
It didn't look good, but I try to keep telling myself that it doesn't look good a lot of times, and then they pull them out, and then it looks good.
McGill got this much, just enough for a game-saving first down. McGill would later score on a 3-yard touchdown run to put the Heels in the lead. Senior Tommy Richardson made sure they stayed there as his interception put the game away for the Heels. Pretty normal for a rivalry game, huh?
We're still a much better team than Duke. The score shouldn't have been as close as it was.
One wouldn't think that the definition of much could be one tiny inch. But on Saturday, that's all the Heels needed. In Chapel Hill, I'm John Leggett, Carolina Week Sports.
With a win against Duke, Carolina claims 2 football points in the Carlisle Cup competition. After a rough start to the fall season, the Heels are now tied with the Blue Devils with 5 points each. The women's soccer team is moving on in NCAA tournament play. More than 4,000 fans braved the cold to cheer on the Heels Saturday against Pepperdine. The Tar Heels quickly brought the heat by scoring in the first 5 minutes of the game. The Waves tried to break the Heels' rhythm, but were unsuccessful. Carolina took 42 shots and won 6-0. Seniors Casey White and Lindsay Tarpley both broke NCAA records, with White's 5 assists and Tarpley's 8th goal of the tournament. White credits her personal success to her teammates.
I'm very honored to have that record, but it's a tribute to the great finishers we have on this team. I mean, we have Lindsay sitting here, who's probably one of the best finishers ever in college soccer, and along with Heather and Libby.
The men's basketball regular season tipped off on Saturday against Gardner-Webb. With little experience on the team, Carolina was tested. The Tar Heels came out running but didn't hold on to the ball. This turnover was 1 of 20 for Carolina. Gardner-Webb kept the game close with precision outside shooting. Carolina rallied behind this Rashawn Terry dunk and Tyler Hansborough's inside play. But the Heels missed it, count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 free throws in the final minute. And the Bulldogs tried to win the game with this 3-pointer. With 11 seconds left, David Noel took the last shot. Coach Roy Williams says he isn't concerned about the team's rough start.
Kirk Heinrich, who's pretty doggone good. You know, I coached him, and he's a pretty doggone good player. His first college game, he had 9 turnovers. You know what? I went back to the hotel room. I didn't lose any sleep because I thought he was going to be pretty damn good. And again, it's their freshmen. I bet y'all's first article sucked, too.
The women's season opener against Davidson might have lacked the drama of the men's, but it certainly wasn't lacking in excitement. Erlana Larkins dominated the first half with 12 points and a lot of hustle, but she left the game early with an ankle injury. With Larkins out, Ivory Lottis stepped up her performance, hitting a 3 here, and in the second half, driving to the basket and scoring in traffic. She would finish with a game-high 20 points to lead the Heels to an 86-48 rout. A few things separate Kenan Stadium from any other college field: the hedges, the Carolina Blue, and Ramses, the Heels' live mascot. Reporter Cassie King shows us how the Ramses prepares for his game day and how he gets his game face on.
You see Ramses when he parades around the sidelines before a game. But who takes care of him, and where does he live? A little outside Chapel Hill on the Hogan farm, Ramses isn't hard to find. His blue horns are a dead giveaway. Rob Hogan represents the 3rd generation of Rams keepers in his family since 1924.
I think the 81 years speaks a lot for the strength of the traditions carried on for that long. For having a live mascot is really unique in the entire country, which is in the world, because nobody else does this sort of thing.
Life is good for Ramses on the farm.
He doesn't do anything much but eat and sleep.
But prior to game day, Ramses is busy getting his coat primed. And of course, a fresh layer of blue paint is slathered onto his horns.
Every game, somebody will ask something funny. Sometimes they'll ask if his horns grow blue.
And just like the football players get dressed for their game,
he puts on his blanket and gets spruced up, so he's looking great.
UNC just wouldn't be UNC without Ramses. And Hogan is especially proud he's a part of that.
As a family, we've enjoyed doing it over the years, and having the 17 Rams we've had, it's important to me that my boys will be 5th generation coming along, and that's a nice connectivity that a lot of people don't have.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Cassie King, Carolina Week Sports.
Well, Phil, I don't think Ramses is going to make it to the game, but the big game is on Saturday against Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, and we can all catch the game at 7:45 on ESPN.
All right, we'll see if the Heels can pull up the upset and get into a bowl game.
Into a bowl, that's right.
All right, thanks, Heather.
Thanks, Heather. Well, Carolina sports teams certainly had fans on a roller coaster this weekend.
That's right, and after the break, reporter Tara Higgerson will take us on another thrilling ride.
Coming up, we'll show you just how fast these guys can go.
Get moving. See what a 10% weight loss can do for you.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
Racing fans, start your engines. Reporter Tara Higgerson shows us why you might be driving to Rougemont in March.
My name is Jake Williamson Jr., car number 65, and I've been in 17 races. Orange County rumored it was going to open up, and when it did, I wanted to come up here because it's got a great reputation.
A reputation for being the fastest 3/8 mile asphalt track in the world. The track closed in 2003 for financial reasons, but one racing fan decided to take it over.
My interest is in taking a facility that just needs a good facelift, a little bit of what do you call it, TLC, tender loving care.
Williamson let me take a view of the rebuilt track from the passenger side. At about 50 miles an hour, I felt like I was going to fly out the window.
We only got up to about half of the speed as normal. I can't even imagine what it's like to be going full speed on this track.
What's full speed? Try more than 100 miles an hour.
It's a close thing you get to a natural high, if you know what I mean. But I'll tell you about racing, it's the highest of the highs and lowest of the lows.
For AG, the highs are outnumbering the lows by a lot.
I'm ecstatic. In fact, you wouldn't believe how many hundreds of phone calls we probably get every week. You know, drivers, fans, just, you know, interested parties to see that this come back to its glory days.
AG plans to reopen the track in March. In Rougemont, I'm Tara Higgerson, Carolina Week.
And there's something else for everyone to look forward to, the holiday season. Thousands of people gathered at the streets of South Point Saturday evening for the mall's Christmas tree lighting ceremony. Country music star Mark Willis played, while the crowd eagerly awaited the lighting of the tree, which will remain lit for the rest of the holiday season. That certainly looks like a gorgeous tree. Hopefully we'll get a chance to go out and see it.
Yes, it does. And we'll leave you with these images of the lighting of the Christmas tree. So have a happy Thanksgiving and a great evening.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.